literally that fence is the fence into the airport. So I'm like, kind of feel like I'm stretching the rules a little bit here. I feel like I'm not supposed to be this close to the airport. Right, on my Run Every Streets daily outing. So here's what makes this outing exciting and a little bit goofy when you use Google Maps as your base map. So not only am I dealing with this as the road that I'm supposed to be running on, which is a muddy, slushy nightmare, but still fun. But literally that fence is the fence into the airport. So I'm like, kind of feel like I'm stretching the rules a little bit here. I feel like I'm not supposed to be this close to the airport, even though I'm on the other side of the fence and I'm totally legal. And this is a public road. It just feels a little bit weird. So anyway, today we'll finish up the last of the little kind of forested bits in the southwest corner of Flagstaff. And yeah, I had a hell of a time the last couple days because I had to do this one road, which totally was not a road. It ended up just being a single track trail that had snowshoe tracks in it. I mean, it was that deep. So I just ended up hiking all of it. It was ridiculous. But, you know, this isn't so bad. I can run a little bit on this. And but yeah, after this, I finally get to get back to some neighborhoods and some roads, some houses, which is nice. And which is good too, because we're supposed to get another 6 to 8 inches this weekend. And this is just going to be all covered over again. So I'm glad I'm getting it out of the way now while it's moderately traversable. Whereas in like 2 days, it'll be probably really bad. So, all right. Off to finish this a little bit. I mean, look at this. Here we go. We got some exposed road here. It's not so bad. I can handle this. It's muddy as all heck, but this is totally fine. So anyway, here we go. All right. Well, welcome back to On 2 Feet, everybody. I figure with the snow still hanging around here, the motorcycle still up for storage, and the bicycle also kind of difficult to ride right now, at least locally. Why not just give you guys an update on where things are at with the, Run Every Street initiative that I decided to tackle. So I've actually been kind of busy with this project over the last few weeks, which it's been fun. It's been really like motivating and exciting and kind of seeing different parts of Flagstaff, but it's also been a little bit, interesting, we'll say. As you saw from that intro video, some of the roads that come up on the map, on Google Maps, I have no idea how they just determine their algorithm, but some of these roads are definitely not roads. They're not named. They're like forest roads. Maybe they're named like FR 238A or something, but they are definitely not roads. And in the summer, they'd be okay. But right now, like some of these roads are still covered with like 8 inches of snow that is like crusted over. And so like there were days when I was out there to do like 6 miles, and it took me like over 2 hours of hiking. And the only thing in front of me were like frozen snowshoe tracks. So it's been interesting. But at the same time, I've had some like amazing like evening sunsets, like these pink orange skies. It's just been really, really like satisfying, and seeing like all the signage for like city limits. I'm like, haha, that's the end of the city. I can turn around here. And so it's been kind of goofy and very satisfying in that way, but it's also been frustrating because I'm running into situations where there's like roads on the map, but when I get to the road, there's like someone lives down that road and they decided kind of just on their own to make their road private and like have gated it off. And so like, even though technically it's a public road, like it's gated, and I'm like, do I go down it? I don't know. I don't want to get shot at for like trespassing, but at the same time, like I don't see any signs that say no trespassing. So I've been having this dilemma. And like when I show the map, you'll see there's this very clear example where like I filled in every street and there's this one sore thumb that sticks out. It's this one unrun street that's like, oh, you clearly missed something, but I didn't. It's just because it was gated off and like I didn't want to risk it. You know, I have that rule of don't do any roads or don't do any private property. And there has been times when I've seen like no trespassing and I clearly don't do that. And so there are some smaller sections that are just like people's driveways and stuff. But there's one particular road where it was really frustrating that I like couldn't finish it. So that it is bothering me a little bit, but you know, overall it's been really fun and I'm excited to start exploring some of the areas of Flagstaff that I don't know as much about or that I've never even seen in my car before. I have started to notice now too that I'm getting far enough away where I have to like basically drive somewhere to like park and then start a section. I can't just leave from my house anymore because I've basically gone far enough out. So I don't have, I think I have maybe 2 or 3 more days where I can just start from my house. But yeah, it's gonna, as I get farther and farther away, it's gonna be more of a endeavor, like, oh, I've got to go run this 5 miles, like all the way on the other side of town. So I'm probably gonna try and do longer days when I get way out there. I mean, it's crazy like how fast the miles add up when you do this kind of thing. You know, I'll look at a small neighborhood and I'll kind of like just eyeball and say, oh, it's probably 4 miles. But you forget like all the little like out and backs and like weird double loops you have to do to like cover all the extra bits. It adds up fast. And like sometimes I'll estimate 4 or 5 miles and I'll come back and look at my watch and it'll say 9 miles. It's like, wow, I had no idea it was going to be that many miles. So it's good though. It's getting me in shape and I'm really like packing on the miles and like starting to like actually get more fit. And, you know, the few times I have ridden my bike down in Sedona, my new bike, I felt like really fit. So it's good. This is what I needed and it's a good way to keep me motivated. So let's move on to show you some fun graphics to show you where I'm at so you guys can just get an idea of how things are going. And yeah, and then we'll end the video. So just to refresh your memory, here's the map of Flagstaff. And I decided for this first kind of month that I was going to focus basically on everything south of I-40, kind of east of I-17 up until this like sort of void area. So basically everything in this sort of southern quadrant here. I'm going to wait and do this stuff up here till later. And so I really wanted to focus on all these neighborhoods, but also what you don't see on this kind of low res map is there's a lot of roads that are just like down here, like unincorporated roads that just kind of go through the woods. And that's all these forest roads I'm talking about. Because I decided to use Google Maps as my base map, you know, I'm sort of like forced to do those. So basically that's where I'm at. I have now completed all of this section down here and it's been really fun kind of trying to like figure out like what roads are within the city limits and what roads are not, and you know, seeing those city limit signs and such. So let me show you guys the map so you can get another refresher, and then I'll show you my progress. So here is the Flagstaff map, and you can see the red line indicating the city boundary, and this is sort of that same area, that kind of southern area. I started off in the last video, I had completed the Ponderosa Trails neighborhood and some of these neighborhoods across the street. This neighborhood over here was a real interesting little adventure, a 2-day endeavor to finish all this off. It actually turns out that this is a very, very prestigious, like super ritzy golf club that is like a very gated golf club, but somehow I kind of just snuck in. I snuck around the gate and like ran all through here, but boy, I was getting some nasty looks from people like, who is this idiot running through a hoity-toity neighborhood? I really felt like I was gonna get like some like local constable like kick me out or something. So I'm really glad that I managed to finish that and I don't ever have to go back, because I felt like I was getting glares of death from very, very rich, privileged people. So definitely not my scene. I'm very glad I'm done with that. So anyway, what you see on here though are all these roads down here, like south of Lake Mary Road. And those are all like these crazy forest roads. And I've been on some of those roads on the Himalayan, and like I've even wiped out on one of those roads on the Himalayan. They're pretty gnarly roads, very sandy and just like not well maintained at all. But yeah, a lot different trying to run through them on crusty snow. So yeah, so basically this is the map. This road, I'm going to zoom in here for a second. This diamond road in here is the one that I was telling you about that was like gated. So it's very frustrating because on Google Maps, it shows this whole loop as being Diamond Road. But this section in here is not a road. Basically, the road ends about right here in this loop, and then it just becomes open woods. There's like not even a trail in there. So I have no idea why that's identified as a road. But when you get over to this side, it is a paved road, but it's basically just a really long driveway to this mega mansion and this other mega mansion. And then there's like, I think there's 4 houses total on this road. But you come down this road all the way to the main highway, and if you zoom in, you can see there's a gate across it right here. And so it's like, I could step around the gate, but I like seriously like worry for my life that someone's going to come running out with a shotgun and start shooting at me or something. So you know what? It's not worth it. You're just going to have that glaring vacancy on the map. So here's my completed map. This is how we're doing. This is about 3 weeks worth of progress. I'm pretty excited. It's looking good. As you can see, I tried to run to the very edge of the city limits on all these like dead end or all these roads that I had to turn around, but it's been a blast. And of course, there's that glaring omission right there that you just can't not notice. But you know what? I just have to like let it go. So yeah, it's been really fun. As you saw, I had to run very close to the airport, which was a little interesting. Seemed like I was breaking some rules there, even though these are all like public roads. So yeah, I think next I'm going to be moving on over here to the sort of west of I-17, south of 40, do this University Heights, these couple little neighborhoods in here, and then slowly start moving my way up into like the main part of town, which is going to be really time consuming doing all of these neighborhood streets back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, up and down, up and down. So yeah, once I get into downtown, it's going to become quite monotonous, but I still think it's going to be really fun. So anyway, that's the progress. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share the video because that's always fun to see. So you guys can kind of watch how I decided to attack this. So here we go. I think that's about as far as I had gone in the first video. So you can already see how much more I'm filling in. Like I said, it took me 2 days to get through that golf neighborhood. So I had to sneak in there twice. God, that was, yeah. But you can see now I'm doing all these back roads, and there's other roads that are showing up on open street maps here, but I'm not doing those. I'm only using Google Maps. So, but yeah, so that's the progress so far. I'm pretty excited. It's been really rewarding. I highly recommend this, even if you do it on bike or however you want to do it. It really gets you out there, kind of exploring parts of like my particular town that I may not have gone to look at, you know, and it's just been really fun. So I'm stoked to keep this project going. And I will say too, for those that are only here to see like the Himalayan content, we've got some warm weather's coming. So starting next week, we're going to be back up into the 50s all the way through the end of February. So I'm starting, you know, I've got my fingers crossed. I might start taking the bike back out, which is awesome. That means I'll only have it in storage for basically 2 months. So yeah, and I've been getting a lot of accessories for it that I haven't been talking about. So I'm gonna kind of hopefully get everything accessorized before I do my first like big reveal video for the summer, for the spring, and kind of say like, here we go, it's ready to go. So, but I've been having to kind of pick things off one at a time, just because, you know, it gets expensive. So I'm trying to buy one little thing at a time. So anyway, that's the update. Thank you so much for sticking around this long, and I'm having a blast with this project. And yeah, take care and be safe out there.